another walking, talking AMA. And I'm sure I've made this joke before, but it could be a walking, talking AMA. But no, we're going to be walking and talking. We're not going to be Christopher Walken today. That's not what's required. But Christopher Walken would make a very good accursed in Curseborne, I think. He'd be suitably freaky, if not an accursed. Some kind of creature from the outside that stalks and follows. Gives you noise. Very frightening. Christopher Walken's accent, which is obviously much impersonated and never actually sounds like the real thing, isn't really all that unique. Have you ever spoken to people from Queens in New York? You'll know that an awful lot of people sound like this. It's just a little bit like how they are. I suppose it's more his cadence that is very uniquely him. But yeah. Anyway, today is a time for another one of these, and with them, I am here at your disposal to answer your questions. And if you're watching, please leave a thumbs up. I hate to be the one to always ask, but if you leave a thumbs up, more people will find the video. I am anticipating today that the algorithm, the good old algorithm, is going to strangle this video to death in its crib, because I'm just done. I just got done with a Let's Play of 5 Hearts Under One Roof 2. And as I mentioned when I last did a Let's Play of 5 Hearts Under One Roof 2, when you upload more than one video in a day on YouTube, it kills both videos. It buries them. Sometimes it doesn't populate them on subscriber feeds. It won't notify people who have clicked that handy little bell. YouTube does not like mass uploads. But as it is tradition that when I walk to my gaming night, I do one of these AMAs, and some of you seem to like it. I am here doing it diligently, asking you for your thumbs up so more people can find it, asking you to chat, even if it is just mind-bogglingly mind-numbing chat. Add your thoughts to the chat section, because that's where we need you to type to show YouTube that there's some kind of interaction here and attract more people to it. Link. Algorithm angry. Why does it get mad when you do more than one video? I think more uploads means more ads. It's because traditionally, if people are subscribed to you, they don't want to watch more than one video of yours every 3 days, I think it is. So if you do a video every day, that's pushing it. If you do more than one video in a day, you're basically deterring your subscribers. So YouTube is trying to protect the user, is what they say. They actually know that if you upload more than one video, the people who watched your first video won't tune into the second one, which means they won't click the ads. And they will also get frustrated that in their subscription feed, there's nothing but your videos, which means eventually they'll just unsubscribe and there'll be less ad revenue in total. So yeah, they actively disincentivize people from uploading more than once in a day and more than a few times a week. So that's why you find most of the big channels on YouTube do about like one video a week, sometimes even bigger gaps than that. Red Letter Media is a good example of this. They're obviously a very popular movie review and discussion channel, and they have pretty sizable breaks of a week or more between videos for the most part. They are very good at, I guess, working the algorithm. The thing is, I say all of this, I've never really given much of a shit about algorithms, about likes, about subscribes, about view counts. Otherwise, I would plan things a little more. It's just fun. Fun to make videos on the fly. That's why I do them. And hello, Edwin. Edwin Wessels. Just here for the free hint of the Player's Guide. Well, what do you want to know about the Player's Guide, Edwin? Because I can tell you about it. I can be your font of information. What secrets do you want to know? Because maybe the Player's Guide contains them. Maybe I can tease them if I don't get mauled to death by small dogs. Corbin is getting lunch. What are you having for lunch today? Corbin, Exoplanets is waving at me. Thank you very much. And Corbin, well, I'm glad to help you learn, Link, wants to know how much story guide stuff is in it. Oh, there's story guide material, especially along the lines of, I guess, what you call lore or setting, material that you can use to explain how certain families interact with each other, the kind of common venues they share, common agendas, how each family conducts itself uniquely from a, I guess, societal, hierarchical setting. All of that is present. So while that will be very useful for players who really want that kind of material, the kind of thing you might find in a clan book, I suppose, if we're talking vampire, that sort of stuff is also in the Curseborne Player's Guide. So you can use it straight from the book, whether you are running it or playing it. Edwin wants to know more about the Venators, not Venerators, Venators, and who is behind all this info. Well, I'm not going to name any writers, never do, unless it's something I've written, and it isn't because I don't believe in crediting them. I believe writers should identify themselves. If they don't, it may be because they don't want people to know that they wrote something. And I understand why, because I have worked on books where when a writer has been identified as author of a section, oh, there is a dog loose now running across the road at me. That's worrying. Looks like some kind of prize dog as well, look. Nope. Now following me. Now following me. Oh, off he goes. I need to see if I can capture this one. Look, small dog, big floppy ears. I do hope he doesn't get mown down. He's obviously escaped someone's back garden. Anyway, in terms of material to do with the Venators, well, the simplest way of describing the Venators is they are hunters. More nuanced, they are people who have been touched, affected by, witnessed the accursed, liminalities, outsiders, things like that. And this inspires them, motivates them, obsesses them to become Venators. So not every Venator is going around like Buffy, though some certainly are. They may not have a full understanding of what a Venator is, or rather what an accursed is. But yes, some do, and others are groups more interested in things like research. Some collaborate with accursed to hunt down worse threats. You have a lovely range of them in the book. Plus, they are, well, they don't have a unique system. They still work within Storypath Ultra, of course, the system used for Curseborne. But they don't just have carte blanche access to all the spells that the accursed do. That's not how Venators work. Venators are more focused on ritualistic practice. They have more gear. They're more likely to be equipped with artifacts, heirlooms and such. So you end up with very different builds for them. The book contains 5 operations for Venators, which is the equivalent of 5 families for a lineage. So, in essence, the Player's Guide is giving you a whole new lineage and 5 additional families for that lineage. So there we go. Link says, more learning. Why is Onyx Path putting Curseborne Player's Guide on Kickstarter while Monster Kingdoms was on BackerKit? Is there a big difference between the platforms? Good question. Kickstarter limits the number of campaigns you can put on it, and we have to decide very carefully which games we want on Kickstarter and which we want on BackerKit, basically. We're actually very much in, what's the word? We have a lot of Kickstarter slots in pocket, so we could do more campaigns on Kickstarter, but at the same time, it's nice to spread the love between platforms, not just because we work with the people at Kickstarter and BackerKit and we want them to do well, although that's true, but because we need people to get used to the fact that we are present on both platforms, so that it doesn't look like an anomaly when we go to one of them. If you suddenly choose a platform you've not used before, immediately some customers will think, well, I'm not going to use that. I'm not going to back there. There's something wrong with that. I don't trust that website. If I have to sign up to a new website, I'm not going to bother. So fielding across 2 websites is just a decent business practice that ensures we never get stung if Kickstarter's policies change or BackerKit's policies change. And also, it's a way of accumulating 2 different audiences. Some people might prefer to use BackerKit over Kickstarter or vice versa. So let's see. Joshua FLTL says, I know you've mentioned Venators. Is there any details for normal mortals? Yes. How to create a curse before they are accursed is all in the player's guide as well. You've got pre-accursed stories, so you can actually start playing the game at, if this was Scion, origin tier. So yeah, in short, I mean, in terms of creating mortals, it is basically the same system, except you're not going to be assigning things like spells and damnations and inheritances and such. Still going to be the same attribute and skills split, and contacts too, albeit you won't have any contacts for your lineage or family, so they may all get spread around your role path instead. But you'd be a lot freer if you didn't know your lineage and family to begin with, to assign dots pretty much wherever you want. So at that point, there's a choice you've got to make as a player. Do you want to be building towards an ultimate damnation and therefore joining a specific family and a specific lineage, or do you want it to be freeform? In which case, maybe the story guide decides, and you could create a character who's really very much unique for their family in that regard. It's quite a lot of fun. Edwin wants to know, how well would Venators work as a player in a possible play-by-post setting? Perfectly well. None of the Venators are rampaging, frothing maniacs who just want to kill all the cursed. And by the way, if you're watching this live, I do need you to give your thumbs up so more people can tune in and ask their questions. We've only got 2 so far, which is not reflective of the number of people watching. So please do give it a like so more people find the video. Unfortunately, that's how it works on YouTube, sorry. Each of the Venator operations has reasons for why they would work with a cursed. So, yeah, I don't see there'll be any problem with playing one in a mixed group. Likewise, the material for system isn't so bespoke that the story guide would have to learn a whole new system. You know, this isn't like matching a mage from Mage the Ascension up with a vampire from Vampire the Masquerade. But likewise, from a setting perspective, it isn't like matching a werewolf from Apocalypse to a vampire from Masquerade. No one is just trying to murder the other. The main issues Venators have are their obsessions. They will develop a bond with a specific specific target, the thing that affected them, that turned them into a Venator, basically. Now, they don't have to kill that target. In fact, in some ways, it's a detriment for them to do so. But they do have to stay central to their life in a lot of ways. So in that regard, a Venator and a curse could end up with a very unhealthy relationship that goes beyond simply wanting to kill each other. Okay. Link wants to know, can I tease some of the reward tiers for the Kickstarter prior to launch? Ooh, good question. You know what? No. That isn't something I have memorized ahead of this. So I'm afraid not. I'm not going to be able to tease the reward tiers. But the good news is that Kickstarter will be going live in about an hour or two. So you'll be able to see them then. Pale One says, haven't made one of these in a while. Saw the Player's Guide announcement, but haven't heard anything about the core. I assume that's out in PDF. It is. If you have backed Curseborne on Kickstarter or BackerKit, and you can do it right now, and the same will apply, you will get the book straight away. You'll get the PDF sent to you straight away, or the link to it. This is pre-feedback, so we still have to fill in page excerpts, make a few adjustments here and there, add in some art that wasn't completed at the time of release. But the game is playable. Fully playable. It is a beautiful piece of work, and you get a character sheet with it too. So, in short, if you were on the fence about backing Curseborne, just type into Google Curseborne Backer Kit, and you will be able to find where you can pre-order it, which basically amounts to buying it now. If it's for the PDF, you'll get it straight away. So I very much recommend doing so. Mr. Mister says, had to handle some business, but I'm back. Good for you, Mr. Mister. I hope it wasn't looking up more feet pics. Pale One, specifically South Korean feet pics. We're not vulgar on this stream. Pale One says, if you have the time and the ability, how's your Trailer Park Blues story for Cult coming along? Well, it's already written. Submitted to Petter at Helmgast. He approved it. Was very happy with it. And in fact, I'm running it for one of my Patreon groups right now. And it's gone in a very different direction to the first time I ran it, which is always fun. I love the chance to run the same scenario more than once. In the past, I hated doing that. I really loathed running the same scenario more than once because I would find it boring, not challenging to me as a GM. But as I've grown more in confidence, and enjoyed observing how players respond to different, scenarios, or responding to the same scenario in different ways, and also tailoring scenarios to the characters being introduced. It keeps me on my toes, and it allows me to sort of develop a bit of a headcanon, which is purely for my own enjoyment. And in short, very, very well. The Trailer Park Blues scenario came about very strangely, as most of my cult work has. Petter, who I once worked with at Paradox Interactive on a video game that was sadly cancelled, like approximately 50% of Paradox Interactive's video games. That's true, by the way. Most of their video games get cancelled before release, just over 50%, I think. So Petter had hired me to work on this video game, not based on, and it was a vampire video game. I can't really go into much more details than that. This was before V5 came out. But Paradox Interactive had, of course, secured the license by this point. Anyway, Petter wasn't even familiar with me via my work on Vampire. Petter hired me based on a video on this channel where I was talking about how to set a mood for a horror game. And he found my video so creepy that he wanted me to work on Cult, Divinity Lost. And I wasn't available for the core book at the time, but I ended up writing... I think the first pitch I wrote was it started and ended with screams, we decided that wouldn't be ideal for the first book of scenarios. So we went for The Summit. I pitched another one, which very much played into my love of vertical horror, like High Rise and the like. And then there was another scenario book, and he asked me to do it, started and end with Screams for that one. And for Trailer Park Blues, he was talking about these black and white photos of Harry Dean Stanton and Mia Jovovich back from the 90s. I think they were modeling photos where Harry Dean Stanton and Mia Jovovich were basically posing around a trailer park and chain link fences and so on. Harry Dean Stanton is carrying some kind of bass guitar in a case or something like that, and he posted alongside it, for some reason this really inspires me to write a cult scenario. And I responded and said, if you're taking pictures, I've just come up with one. And he said, sure, go for it. So I sent him a pitch, and he said, oh, actually, that's really good. Let's develop that. And that is how Trailer Park Blues came about. So hopefully that scenario will see release in the next few months. Thank you very much, everybody, for leaving likes on this video. It is needed, because as you can see, the number of viewers has shot up. That is how it works, unfortunately. Not, as I emphasize over and over again, it is not for my ego that I ask for likes. I really am not that bothered. But if you want more questions in the chat, and I do, you do need to leave likes on these videos, because that's how it propagates to other people's subscription feeds. That's how YouTube gets you. It wants to look for likes and comments in the chat. So thank you very much, anybody who is leaving a like on this video. It helps the viewer count go up, which means we get more people chatting. Victor says, how different are the new families going to be from the ones in the core? Well, all of them are, of course, different. None of them are just variants on a theme. To take an example, here's a spoiler. We have the Napoleons. The Napoleons are a family in the Curseborne Player's Guide who are boar shifters. And I've always loved were-pigs. I've always loved hogs. And I did an adventure for Werewolf the Apocalypse, which basically has the possibility of reviving the Grondir, or possibly bringing them back from the brink of being skull pigs in Hells of Apocalypse. But I wasn't done with were-pigs, you see. And originally there were Napoleons who are very about hoarding heirlooms, artifacts and so on, and storing them in their vaults and penthouses and putting them on display. I realized that other than the Sphinx, the primals didn't really have a social family, and I thought they would be a nice counterpoint to the Sphinx if they have a sort of robber baron feel to them. And obviously the name Napoleon comes from Animal Farm, because he is the chief pig in George Orwell's Animal Farm. Originally they were going to be called Stompers, but that got nixed, so they became Napoleons, and I'm really fond of them. I think they are a fantastic, very flavorful, really colourful family. And another one is the Nest, if we're sticking with primal. The Nest are rat shifters. And I know what you might be thinking if you've really read the Curseborne core book closely. You'll notice there is a rat family called the Sakura mentioned in there, and that Resurrection Jake is the last of them. Well, the Nest have something to say about the Sakura, and they have a very, very interesting idea. I really love the idea of a sort of anarchist, destructive, primal family that was basically going to chew through your wires and plant bombs and generally tear down the whole fucking establishment because they've been treated like shit for their entire lives. And the Nest very much sums that up. I thought, what would it be like if we had a family who basically lived in the equivalent of occupied territory, freedom fighters, resistance fighters, and that's kind of what the Nest are. So in answer to your question, Joshua FLCL, what's my favourite new family? My favourite new family is probably the Plague Doctors. I do enjoy Hungry that can only feed on diseased flesh and blood. Yes, lots of spoilers in this video. There you go. You ask me questions about the Curseborne Player's Guide, I will give you answers. Obviously, that's going to make them slightly off-putting in some ways, but guess what? They can also remove those diseases from people. They could be healers, but they do have rather disgusting appetites. Hello, Ash. Happy Wednesday to you. Thank you very much, Pale One. I do hope you pick up the Curseborne core book and Player's Guide. Oh dear, don't look at North Korean feet, Mr. It's South Korean all the way, as we know. The weather is deceptively hot today, Ash. I know we don't live a million miles apart from each other, and it was very wet and gloomy this morning, but has cheered up a lot right now. Wednesday game went very well. If you want to watch some of my explorations of South Korea, you'll have to check the previous video to this one in my live feed, 5 Hearts Under One Roof 2, which is the demo has just dropped and I've just completed the demo. Very much looking forward to the full release, hoping that the full release doesn't cost a fucking fortune. Hello, Twilord. My new video game controller, my PC controller arrived today, Twilord, so we can get back to the Digimon Let's Play tomorrow with any luck. Miguel wants to know, how well do I think Curseborne could work for a Monster of the Week investigation style game? I think it is absolutely perfect for a Monster of the Week investigation style game. I think that is one of the best ways you could run it, quite frankly. Like the original 3 seasons of the X-Files before it got incredibly conspiracy heavy. I think, in fact, I made a video about how you could use the X-Files plots in Curseborne. I think it is the optimal way to play for people who are just getting into Curseborne and have very little knowledge of it. You are supernatural, but there are greater risks out there than you, and you need to subdue them. Tom Mercer says, if anyone saw the Napoleons already, he'd be very excited for them. Victor DeSena says, that's unexpected, pigs as Napoleon. Tom heirlooms are truffles. Exactly. They go hunting them down. And look, excitement for rats as well. And Napoleon's, Ganondorf. Yep, that is a definite connection as well. Looks like Dustin is a big fan of this too. Have you talked about the Outcast families yet? Asked Tom. No, I haven't. And you haven't missed the AMA Supervad. I'm right here. Kid Syria says, I'm hoping to order a physical copy once shipping gets its shit together where I live. Well, you may be waiting a while because shipping is what shipping is right now. I recommend going in for the PDF and just upgrading your pledge if the shipping costs come down. So, Twilord says, you'll get me into Digimon feet. Never! I will never succumb to the allure of Digimon feet, claws, paws, whatever they are. Anyway, it's Mr. on this feed who's a big fan of feet, not me. I could take or leave them. In fact, like Annie Wilkes in Misery, I'm quite happy seeing feet at odd angles. I think Yuman in 5 Hearts Under One Roof 2, maybe while he was in the hospital, was systematically having his right leg broken, given that he was in a coma for 6 months and woke up and his leg was still in a cast. So there's a rather unpleasant nurse in that hospital, and I think she's about to start lodging with us. So if you're interested in what the hell I'm talking about, check out 5 Hearts Under One Roof 2 on my channel. It's about as popular as any videos I make about anything else for some bizarre reason. Supervad says, are we going to see crafting rules in the player's guide out of curiosity? What kind of things are you interested in crafting? Asks Vlad. I ask you, Vlad. Okay, all right. So, I am going to answer one more question. Mr. M33K says, did the Kickstarter waiting on the PDF, or are there any disease or illness-based Curseborne? There are disease and illness-based Curseborne. There are the Plague Doctors. They're a new family of Hungary. If you back the Curseborne Player's Guide on Kickstarter, it will go live in about an hour or two. You will get access to the manuscript, and you'll get to read all about them. Hungry that feed on diseased flesh. And now people are asking for Curseborne feet. This is terrible. It's Game of the Year, 5 Hearts Under One Roof, asks Ash. As I said a couple of days ago, when I started streaming 5 Hearts Under One Roof 2's demo, when Silksong came out, I did not do a day of release stream. Hell, when Cuphead came out, I love Cuphead. I've played the hell out of Cuphead. I didn't do that either. I won't be doing it for Bloodlines 2. In fact, I will never do a day of release stream, I always thought. But then I got an email telling me Five Hearts Under One Roof 2's demo was out, and I had to play it, and I had to record it, I had to upload it, and so you got to see me playing it live on day of release. I have become... Is a weeb exclusively a Japanese thing, or is it South Korean as well? Is it broadly East Asian? You tell me. Anyway, I need to get to a game I'm supposed to be running right now, so do pick up the Curseborne Player's Guide. The Kickstarter will be going live in a couple of hours. The link to it is in the video description below. And thank you very much for watching, and be seeing you next time.